Ta-da!
Okay. Start for a second.
Sally!
Yeah!
Problems.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Tay and Tots. So today I have decided to film a video that I think a lot of people in here would like to know about me, about my past a little bit. But I was a teenage pregnancy. I had Isabella, my oldest, when I was 17 years old, and I was in high school. Isabella's dad is Alexis. Me and him met when we were in high school, and later me and him are going to film our how we met video and our interesting story on that one, because it was very interesting. Anyways, so I'll just go ahead and get right into the part of me being pregnant. So I had Isabella when I was a junior in high school. She was born in April and I got pregnant in, we want to say August-ish. We're not really sure on the exact date I got pregnant, but we're like somewhere in that area. So I was in class one day and I started not feeling good. I started getting tired and nauseous and just not feeling good, and I thought maybe I was coming down with a bug. So I had called my mom and I was like, hey mom, I don't feel good, can you check me out of school and I can go home? And she was like, yeah, sure. And so she called the school and I went home. So I left school, I went home, and I just chilled at home, and I just didn't feel good at all. Like, I took a nap, didn't help. I was like, something is not right, I'm pretty sure I have a stomach bug. Like, I don't know what's going on. So this day, stepdad, he actually went out and got a motorcycle that day. And if to him that day was like, ah, because he just was so excited about getting this motorcycle, and I crushed it hard. I'll explain that in a minute. So my mom was at work and my brother and sister were at school. They came home. My brother and sister had no idea what was going on with me. They just knew I went home from school not feeling good. And I was in the bathroom doing something in the bathroom, and my mom walks in and she's like, Taylor, I have a question. I'm like, what? And she's like, could you be pregnant? Me? Pregnant? No. And she was like, are you sure? And I'm like, I don't think I'm pregnant. I mean, I don't think so. She was like, we'll take a test. I had a few tests there. I took them, and in my mind I was thinking, yeah, I am not pregnant. Like, there's no way. I just can't be. Like, I'm only 17. No way. No. So I took the test. I sat it on the counter, and then I looked down at the test, and the test said pregnant. Yes, test said pregnant. And it only took literally 2 seconds for it to come up that way. I was so, my emotions that were going through my head in that moment were like, oh my God, oh crap, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. Like, my mom's gonna kill me. My stepdad's gonna kill me. Alexa's gonna be so mad. Oh my God, I'm gonna have a baby. Like, I'm so young. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm not telling my mom just yet. Well, then I walked out the door, and she was standing outside the door. She was like, what'd it say? And that's when I just started bawling, like hardcore, like tears was like pouring down my eyes, like, it's pregnant, I'm sorry. And she was like, at that moment, like, she went from being like kind of okay to being like, and like freaking out, and then she started crying, and she was like, take another test. And I was like, okay. So I went back in there, pushed a little bit of pee out to pee on, just enough to pee on that stick, and bam, 2 seconds later, pregnant. And then she was like, oh my God, oh my God. And then she just walked away. She walked away, went to the bedroom, just walked away. So I followed her into the bedroom and sat on the bed, and she was just like, what are we gonna do? Oh my gosh, you gotta tell your dad, you gotta tell your stepdad when he gets home. Oh, everyone's gonna be so angry. You gotta tell your Nana and Papa. Have you told Alexis? And I was like, I don't know, just crying, and I couldn't get words out, and just was like not in the right mind at that second to say anything, and I was just very emotional. And about the time that all this was going on, my stepdad came home from getting his motorcycle. And remember I told you, he was like in this like, ah, moment where he was just so excited because he got this brand new bike and he was like so happy about it and wanted to show it off, and walked inside with this new helmet on and had like this visor thing, and he wanted to go show my mom because he thought it was cool. And I was like, okay. So he walked into the room, we were sitting there, and both of us are bawling our eyes out and like just crying, and he just like, whoa, what's going on here? And I was like, I still couldn't talk. And my mom was like, Taylor, tell him. And he was like, are you pregnant? I was like, just like, didn't say anything. Didn't say anything at all. Just flipped his visor on, his helmet down, and just sat on the bed. Yeah. So then after that, I had to, I texted Alexis actually, because he still didn't know what was going on. And I texted him, and I texted him a picture of the 2 pregnancy tests together, and I was like, are you ready to be a daddy? And he texted me back, said, is this for real? I was like, yeah. And later on he ended up calling me and we talked about it, whatever. And whenever he called me, I told him, you could tell your parents. I had to tell mine by myself and you could tell yours by yourself, which was probably a very immature thing to do because, yeah, but it ended up happening, and he told them, and they kind of knew already that I was, like, as soon as he sat down, they were like, Taylor's pregnant, isn't she? He was like, yeah. I called my dad, and at that moment, the day I called my dad to tell him I was pregnant, my baby sister was being born. So like he was dealing with that, and then all of a sudden now he has to deal with me and what's going on over here, and he doesn't live here, and it was just a big mess. Anyways, so here's the part like about like, so that was like how I found out, and then this is the part that like with dealing with the pregnancy itself. So since I was a junior in high school, at our high school, they have this program called CATS. It's a night school program, so it's Monday through Thursday, and it's after school hours. So I think it's like from 4 to 8, I think, and it's a work your own pace program. So you go in and you pretty much work as fast as you can to get through, so you can get done as fast as you want to, pretty much. That option was given to me by my counselor. They really weren't too fond of having a teenage pregnancy in the high school. I mean, it happens and they know it happens, but the night school program has like a really good like area for teenage pregnancies, I guess you could say. Like we did the classes and stuff, and a nurse came in and like talked to us and all that, so I ended up doing that. So I was beginning my junior year, all this happened, went to night school program. So I had literally 2 years to finish school. So I went in there in September and I graduated by February of the next year. So I worked my booty off and I got school done because I was like, my goal was to get done with school before Isabella was born. And it ended up working out really well, and so I finished school before she was born. So I graduated high school right before she was born, and so that was like pretty much like, it was an easy pregnancy. I didn't have very many complications. At the end of the pregnancy, obviously I went through the discomfort and uncomfortableness and stuff. In my first baby, I had no idea what the heck was going on in my body. I was a big old whale, and I kept getting like these contractions, which are Braxton Hicks contractions, but I did end up dilating like to a 2, I think, before I had her. But like, it was an easy pregnancy. Everything worked out well. Everything calmed down with family and things like that, and everyone accepted it, and it was all good. Alexis also, he graduated before me. Whenever I was a sophomore, he was a senior, and that's whenever we met. So he was already out of school in college when all this was going on. But what happened next? Oh, and then my labor and delivery. So I went into the hospital to get induced. I was 39 weeks, I believe. Yeah, 39 weeks. And I went in to get induced at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had her leave at like 11:47, I think. It was on the 25th of April that I had her. Everything was smooth with my like getting induced and everything. Pushing was the only issue we had during my labor. When I was pushing her out, I didn't realize how fast I could push pretty much. So with one contraction, she was like, when there's time to push, they pull your legs up, tell you to do that big practice push. you do that big practice push, like normally nothing really happens. You're just trying to get your body used to it. With me, something did. She started coming down further. And then with, they're like, okay, we'll push again, do another practice push, and I did it and her head started cutting. At this point, the nurses were like, stop! Do not go any further. This baby is coming out right now. And I was like, okay, like freaking out, cause you know, I'm pushing the baby out. Like y'all told me to push the baby out, so I'm pushing. And she was like, I have to call your doctor. You have to hold on. I was like, okay. So she went and ran and called the doctor, and I had to hold Isabella in for like, it was a while, like, cause she had to call the doctor. Doctor had to drive to the hospital, get her scrubs on, get everything ready to go, and then come into the room. And so I think I held Isabella in there from between like 30 to 45 minutes during all this. And so while she was sitting in there, some complications happened. Her head started to swell a little bit and go sideways. So it was like a weird shaped cone on the side of her head, and she looked like a straight up alien cone head baby. I would feel so. The doctor came in, I went to go finish pushing, and when I did, like she wouldn't come at this point. So the doctor gave me a episiotomy, and then that like contraction, I pushed her out. When she came out, they realized she had meconium when she came out, so she had to get like oxygen put on and like suction out her like lungs and everything, and she ended up being a perfectly healthy baby girl. And that's pretty much my story with her. Like, I was young, I had a baby, and I'm here now. It's a whole big world of things going on, and it's definitely a roller coaster ride. But in the end, you get a beautiful baby, and it's totally worth it, I promise. So just stick with it. And if you guys ever need to like ask questions about anything, you don't like hesitate to comment down below, and I'll answer your questions. If you have any other suggestions on what kind of videos you want to watch or anything with that, like with this whole situation, like ask them and I might provide a video for them. So that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below, and I will see you later. Goodbye.